Hello and good
British
morning.
Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Hello and good morning. This is Shaigan Jafarbeglou with your morning news. The Prime Minister of Slovakia was shot today. The President of Slovakia says the shooting is an attack on the country and democracy. Charles de Ledesma has more.
President Zuzana Kaputova, a political rival of PM Robert Fico, said in a televised statement, "A physical attack on the Prime Minister is first of all an attack on a person, but it's also an attack on democracy. Any violence is unacceptable. The hateful rhetoric we've been witnessing in society leads to hateful actions," she says. "Please, let's stop it." Kaputova says the shooter was arrested but gave no details about him. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
An Interpol warrant has been issued and a nationwide manhunt is underway for an inmate who escaped a prison van after an ambush in France. Ines de la Cuetera of ABC has more details on the search.
24 hours after a dramatic and deadly attack at that toll booth 85 miles north of Paris, still no sign of the prisoner who escaped from a police van. The man has been identified as 30-year-old Mohamed Amra, also known as The Fly. He was freed after his accomplices opened fire on police, killing 2 officers on the spot. 3 others were seriously injured. Hundreds of officers have been deployed across the country to search for the suspects. An Interpol Red Notice, which is similar to an international arrest warrant, has now been issued. Ines de la Cuetera, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
Russian President Vladimir Putin says he is ready to negotiate for an end in fighting in Ukraine. Charles de Ledesma of the Associated Press has more on the details of the negotiations.
In an interview with Chinese media, Russian President Vladimir Putin, on the eve of a visit to Beijing, says his regime is prepared to negotiate over the conflict in Ukraine. The official Xinhua news agency quotes Putin saying, "We're open to a dialogue, but such negotiations must take into account the interests of all countries involved in the conflict, including ours." Putin adds, Moscow is seeking a comprehensive, sustainable and just settlement of this conflict through peaceful means. His trip comes as Russian forces have pressed their offensive in northeast Ukraine's Kharkiv region. China claims to take a neutral position in the conflict, but has backed Moscow in real terms. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A Quebec Superior Court judge has denied McGill University's request for an injunction to remove the pro-Palestinian encampment on the campus. The university issued the request on the grounds that the protests pose a health and safety risk. The school also was denied its request to have Montreal police assist in the removal of the encampment. The encampment will remain on McGill campus for now. Former President Trump and United States President Joe Biden have agreed to 2 presidential debates. Donald Trump and Joe Biden have agreed to 2 presidential debates in June and in September. The presidential debates will be hosted by CNN and ABC. CNN says its debates will be in Atlanta studios with no audience present. Biden said on Wednesday that he wouldn't participate in debates sponsored by the nonpartisan commission that's organized them for more than 30 years. Biden proposed the 2 debates which exclude third-party candidates, and Trump says, "Let's get ready to rumble." Now to BC wildfires. Fire Chief Jody Butts says the fire threatening Fort McMurray is only burning along the surface of the ground through the trail of the former blaze. He says the fire is far less threatening than the previous. However, this isn't much comfort for the 6,600 people who were forced out of their homes in the town. He says the town is in a much better position now. Wildfires also threaten the communities of Fort Nelson in BC and Cranberry Portage in Manitoba. Now for weather, it's looking partly cloudy in Burnaby with a chance of showers tomorrow until it clears up again on Friday. This has been Shaigan Jafarbeglou with your morning news.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikki-King.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikki-King. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.